I am going to try to use a technique of a fellow artist that she showed me this technique the other day, and I would love to try to use it. So I'm going to use a wooden panel, a pre-gessoed wooden panel. I got this one from Hobby Lobby, but I'll put a link in the description below of other options that you might want to look at. We'll start off with a little bit of a thin layer of Viridian. It's like a teal color, it's like a sky blue color, but it's called Viridian. It has a bit more green to it than like a cerulean. This is acrylic paint at this point. I do a lot of my underpaintings in acrylic. So I'm just kind of spreading it on there, not evenly. You'll notice some layers are thicker. What I'm doing here is I'm just adding a bit of texture, and then I'll remove it. I'm just adding a bit of water. And then I'll take that towel and look, instant clouds, look at that. And those are not perfect, and there's a bit of a pattern to them. I try to stay away from patterny type brush strokes and anything else. Now I'm smoothing out the bottom of this cloud because the bottom of clouds are more or less flat. Even your cumulus clouds, those ones that they're really puffy like cotton candy and they reach toward the sky, the tops of the sky, those are actually flat on the bottom, or flatter on the bottom as well. Just kind of playing with the paint to get it where I want it. What I'm doing here is I'm pulling that color into the foreground. If you've read my book, Basics of Fine Arts, you'll know that I talk about blending the different colors used in a composition together to create a bit of harmony. This is just a basic brown acrylic paint. I probably could have mixed this. Your art teacher probably tells you, oh, don't use brown out of the tube. You can always mix it. Yes, you can. But for time's sake, I just went for the brown. We're looking at a landscape, so I am basically just moving this brown paint around in a manner that may be, don't know at this point, but may be a basis for the land part of the landscape. Notice at the top of that, and then right here as well, the two colors mix. So basically I mix the two colors together, and this is the color I'm getting right now. It is a darker color. When you mix two complementary colors together, like orange and blue, brown is a derivative of orange and Viridian is a derivative of blue. When you mix them together, you get a nice neutral color. And I'm moving it around just to kind of harmonize all of the colors together. Pull it together like pieces of a puzzle. Throw in some up there. That'll eventually be a tree, the tree line. And now I'm moving this Viridian color into the area where I want water to be, the illusion of water. No, the water's not going to look like that, but this is the beginning of it. I want the two colors to be in different places to balance out the composition. Okay, so now what I've done is to switch to oil paint. And I am mixing two complementary colors, green and a cool red, almost a magenta color. And I'm just going to throw it around with a paper towel. I'm throwing this around with a paper towel, just kind of putting it here and there. Sometimes I'll smudge it, sometimes I'll dab it. It just depends on what I'm envisioning for the future of this painting. And I want to really ground my values in this composition. And so this is a really dark color. And it's a great color to build on. I did not go with a regular brown. I did mix two complementary colors, and this is what I got. Now, eventually this is going to be grass and also some seaweed coming out of the edges of the water. If you've been to South Louisiana, you know that there are these, they're almost like bamboo, little needly strands of grass that grow out of the water. Yes, the grass even grows in the water here. Grass grows everywhere in South Louisiana, including in the water. So it just depends on what kind it is. But that is something that we do have near the shore in the marsh. You can see the bits of blades of grass growing from out of the water near the land, like along the land area. And you'll see these little islands of marsh grass, and on all around the edge of it, you have these weed type structures growing out of the water. I'm establishing the water area. I'm going further in or out of where I want the water to be, because I'm going to paint over that. But I don't want it like differentiated section of the water than the land. We want the two to blend to where it looks more realistic. Okay, I'm adding some cerulean blue mixed with a little bit of probably mixed with the green and that magenta color. Now I'm throwing in some white to really highlight the cloud area. I really like the way the sky looks right there. It's probably almost done. Now I'm pulling in some dark leafy treetop bunches. When you look at a tree, you'll see, you're not going to notice leaves right away. You're going to notice bunches of leaves. So little puffed areas where you know there's a bunch of leaves grouped together. Okay, this is the end of an old paintbrush that the brush part fell off of, and I'm taking the smaller end of it, a smaller tip, and creating some texture to represent the tree trunks. If you've been in the marsh areas of anywhere from Florida to Louisiana, maybe even in other places, I don't know. I've only been, to these marsh areas, and they'll have these myrtle trees, wax myrtle trees. We call them mango trees here, but they're not really mango trees. But they're more of a wax myrtle, I think, is the more appropriate name for them. And there's also a lot of oak trees in some swamp areas that lead out into the lakes and such. And this is kind of one of those scenes. I would say that's more of an oak tree or an overgrown, we call them money trees, a forest trash tree. But they do have some interesting trunks and branches. I'm establishing the trunk area. And you'll see me go back and establish more and more as I go. If I'm not happy with it, I may let it go and then come back. See, that looks more like an oak tree from the distance now. But this is the first time I use this technique. This just a regular Q-tip, guys. And just establishing the branches. And the trunks. I am super fascinated with tree trunks and branches and leaves. If I take a road trip, I'm usually there with my camera. Just, oh gosh, on the side of the road, that's a beautiful chunk of trees. Let me take a picture. It's a bit of a sickness, but I do love branches and trees. I just find they're so beautiful and they give us so much. So I'm just going to let you watch for now, and if I need to hop in and say something about anything, I will. Um, but I'm basically establishing the trees, the grass, the weeds, and I'm just going to keep doing that until I'm happy with what's going on here. So just to reiterate, this is oil paint on top of an acrylic base coat. I'm taking away the paint. I'm scratching away the paint to establish these textures. So now I'm coming in with a very fine round, um, it's a flat round. It's not a round, round like in water paint. This is a flat round. The tiniest little point. You could use whatever, probably use whatever kind of paintbrush you want right here. Something really tiny. What I'm also doing is I added a bit of cad yellow and white to the green color that I had to create some highlights in the tree, in the leaves of the trees, where I feel like the sun would have hit them. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm taking the flat part of the brush and just moving it side to side to, originally I was going to put a pirogue, like half of a pirogue, the back end of it, on and off shore, kind of sitting on and off of the shore in the background, because I need a focal point here. I need a dominant focal point. And so any man-made structure is going to draw the human eye automatically. Any man-made structure, anything that's more symmetrical, more geometric, man-made, is going to draw the eye. So I decided to make a wharf out of it. There are lots of these camps out in the swamp area and in the marsh areas around the lakes here in Louisiana. And a lot of them, the camps have been have been completely taken away by hurricanes, but you'll see the docks left there. And a lot of times you'll see these pelicans and egrets and cranes perched on the pilings that hold up the wharf that's left there. And so that's what I decided to do. So going back to the book that I wrote, you can find it on Amazon. It's called Basics of Fine Art: What You Need to Know, because I basically could break down like everything, everything that I could think of with illustrations. What you need to know to create a great composition. Um, One of the most important things that you can pay attention to when you are painting, drawing, baking, sculpting, whatever it is you do that you feel is art, is to pay attention to value. Value is number one. Value is king in the art world. And so I am just reestablishing some darker values in the treetops. So here we are. It is complete, and I am pleasantly removing this tape from around the painted area. I love it. It makes a smooth, crisp edge. This is regular blue painter's tape. Yes, and I have paint all over my hands. I hope that you can see the detail here. Probably the camera is not going to pick up every bit of it. I hope I get better with a camera. But I really like the way it came out. It's a very calm, peaceful scenery. And if you like this demo, please subscribe and like this video and follow me here and on Instagram and Facebook. And I'll be putting more of these out. Thank you so much for watching, and also visit my website at Art by Tanya K.